Hey, Josh here, getting ready to put sugar cakes on 4 more hives. It's the first week of November, so no longer feeding sugar syrup. So we have these sugar cakes that I showed you on a previous video how I made, and they're soft sugar cakes, so they're kind of pliable here. And I figured I would show you here on how I put them on the next 4 hives. Those 4 hives over here already have sugar cakes on them, but there's plenty of honey in the hives. I don't think they're taking the sugar cake currently because they have plenty of honey in the hive, but I've been checking on them. These hives do not have any sugar cakes on them currently, so I figured I'd show you guys how I put them on top of the hives, and they may or may not take them right now, but the point is, the middle of the winter, if stores get low, they will come up and they will take these sugar cakes. So I, again, going to show you how I put them on the hive. So let's go ahead and get started on the first hive here. And these rapid feeders are still on the hives with the sugar syrup. We're going to take a peek in this hive, just see what we're looking at here. Hive syrup. All right. Lots of bees here. Pretty calm. Looking for the queen, especially this time of year. Look at her on the inner cover. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seams of bees here. They're on the left side. I don't see the queen. I'm gonna shake these bees off. You just give them a kind of tap, like a quick shake, like that. Get them off the board. We got most of them off there. A little bit of smoke here. I'm gonna pull 1 or 2 frames here, just see what we're looking at. Although again, smoke follows beauty, just so you know. Separate these. I think the cluster is right around here. Again, I don't see many bees here. There's a few bees here, but the majority of the cluster is here. You just gotta be really careful this time of year. You don't wanna roll your queen. Lots of nectar here. Lots of food, lots of nectar. You can see, come in here, Dad. See all the glistening here? This is all sugar syrup here. This is all honey right here. See this up here? It's all honey. See the honey there? Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the next frame. The bees are real calm. I'll let you know if they're not. Oh, it's another heavy frame. So look at here. This is what you want to see this time of year. You want to see all this honey right here. This is all sugar syrup or honey that I've been feeding right here. This entire frame is full. Flip it on the back side, you can see all the honey here. This is all capped honey. You can see it right here, capped honey. Looking, I don't see the queen anywhere in here. She's probably somewhere down in here. Honestly, you know, this hive's looking good. I really just want to check their food stores this time of year. I don't need to find my queen. Honestly, you can do more harm than good this time of year with inspections. So, you know, we're first week in November. I'm not worried about finding my queen. This hive's in good shape. I see plenty of food. All right, let's get the Vivaldi board back on here. So we got our front entrance right here. Watch out, girls. All right. So we got our sugar syrup feed. Again, smoke finds beauty. We got our rapid feeders off the hive here. So now if you, come in here, Dad. You see where I trace the inner square on these Vivaldi boards right here? So that tells me where to put the square. So when this is completely plugged up with food, like I have it now, this is the soft sugar brick, which I showed you in a previous video. It's hard to tell exactly where to center it, okay? So what I did was I created sort of an outer marking with a Sharpie, so you know exactly where to center this. Is it that important? No, but I mean, you could probably tell from here, here, here. But I wanted to tell exactly where the center is, because when you put this on and it's full of food, you cannot tell exactly where the inner cover hole is. Now the bees will come up if they need it, and right now they don't, because there's a ton of food in this hive. There's a ton of you know, sugar syrup, there's a ton of honey. So they're gonna be well fed throughout the winter time, but in an emergency situation, they can come up here and they can take this feed and use it. Again, it's a, what is it, a sugar mix with, it's got pollen substitute, it's got salt, and it has apple cider vinegar. And if you watch my previous video, I show you exactly how to make these, but it's really good nutrition for the bees in the winter time. And they can come up here and they can take this if they need it. If they don't need it, they won't take it. They'll actually carry it out the front entrance, which is, you know, kind of disheartening. But when it comes to bees, you know, if they have enough food, that's fine. You only worry about when they're deficient in food, they don't have enough food for the winter time and they starve, and that's when your hives die. So this is really good. Again, these Vivaldi boards are a really good way. It's a quilt box. It's a way to feed your bees in the winter time, and they're gonna have plenty of nutrition and food if they need it in an emergency situation. So it's, you know, again, it's good to have. So whenever you put this down, the next thing to have is your burlap. And the burlap functions for a couple reasons. It wicks the moisture away. So when your bees end up taking this away and it creates a hole, the bees' breath comes up, it evaporates, and the moisture collects on the top here. And if you have this burlap, it helps wick their breath away from the cluster of the hive in the wintertime. It also has an R factor, which helps insulate the hive and provide some warmth in the wintertime. So really, we just kind of push this down over top of the inner square here. You don't have to get it perfect, but you want to get it lower enough to where it's not going to interfere with the inner cover. And I just realized, Dad, So I don't have any more of the Reflectix shield, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that. I'll come back later on and show you, but if you watch my previous video on those 4, there's, is it Reflectix? What's it called? It's like that bubble wrap sort of reflecting material. I will create that for the inner cover here, okay? And it helps reflect the heat down back into the hive, and I'll put that over here. I'm gonna go ahead and seal these hives with just the inner cover here. It's fine. I mean, here in Kentucky, it's still like 70, 80 degrees, which is ridiculous in November, but you know, it is what it is. So I will come back and I will put that Reflectix on here, and I'll shoot a video to show you guys that. But if you watch my previous videos, you can see, actually, I'll just show you right now. Let's go ahead and check on this hive. I just want you guys to see what I'm talking about. So this here, so I will make this for all 10 hives. It fits perfectly inside the inner cover, and I make shims on all my inner covers here, so you can see where it fits kind of inside there. But it helps reflect, I don't know, it's just kind of, what's it called, Dad? Reflectix? I don't know.
I can't think of the name for it.
But it's only, it's not very thick, but again, it's kind of a
like a foil?
Yeah, it's like a foil. It's like a heat barrier, and it helps reflect the heat from the bees back down into the hive. But these holes on the front and the back help they help create ventilation, and any sort of moisture or anything that the bees exhale that the burlap wicks out in those really cold winter months when it's super dry out. It's going to pull that moisture out the front, and this helps reflect the heat back down into the hive. And so every one of my hives gets these sort of reflective, I don't know, material on the top, on the inner cover, and it just kind of sits on top here. And if you, I mean, this has been on the hive for a week, and you can kind of see the bees have kind of barely touched this. Come on in, Dad, here for a close-up. You can kind of see where the bees have kind of barely touched this. And it's hard right here. So they'll take it as they need it. Again, they don't need it right now because they have a ton of honey in the hive. But in an emergency situation, if they need it, it's there. So again, Vivaldi board, sugar cake, inner square, burlap, reflective shield, inner cover 2.0, I guess, and then overall cover here. And this has worked very well for me in the wintertime, guys. I mean, I will send you updates throughout the wintertime. We can check in on them. Yeah, and that's it. And that's what I've done here. So I'll come back with the inner reflective cover here on these bees. God, I forgot to make those, Jack. That's okay. It's not super cold right now, so we can come back and we can put those in there. Honestly, it won't disrupt the bees because we've got that inner square. So we'll be able to do it without impacting them. Again, how long's this smoker been sitting here unused? So watch my previous video on how to keep a smoker lit. Let's see. see the queen. You come over here, Dad. Yeah, no queen. And just looking down in here, I see a cluster right here. I can see solid frame of food here. I'll show you real quick. Come on in here. So you can see all this is all cap food here. It's all honey, sugar syrup here. The bees are working this pretty good. All food here. You can see all the bees here. Watch out. All food here. So all food. They're very slow this time of year. You can see them moving very, very methodically. Again, they're in a storage mode here, getting ready for the winter time. So you don't have to find your queen this time of year. I mean, she's in there. There's going to be very, very little brood this time of year. So we're gonna go ahead and seal these girls back up. And again, I'll come back and put that Reflectix material on this. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna finish the rest of these 4 hives, and you know, I'll show you guys the progress throughout the winter, how the bees are taking the food in, if they are, and the progress on the Vivaldi board. So thanks for watching, appreciate it.